name is Michelle Fleming, and I'm the founder and one of the directors of Orthopedic Yoga Therapy. So I'm here today to talk about the term flat back. Now, flat back is something that you would never want, and you should never strive for, and yoga teachers should stop saying it in yoga class, and this is why. My lovely assistant Ernest here will show you his spine, and you will see that Ernest has a lovely cervical curve, an outward thoracic curve, an inward lordotic lumbar curve, and then here his sacrum is also curved. One of my favorite teachers like to refer to that as you should have a curve and a hump and a curve and a rump. It's a nice easy way to say that. Now, it is these beautiful curves that allows us to move through life and have that motion be a self-lubricating, self-healing motion to our joints. This spot here, where your vertebrae articulate, where they touch, this is called the facet joint. And the facet joint is covered in cartilage, and it has a synovial membrane. And every time these joints slide over each other in this beautiful motion, the synovial membrane has synovial fluid all inside it that nourishes and heals and lubricates the joint. So every step you take should be a self-healing, self-lubricating motion. And as long as we move through life, we move through our joints instead of into the joints, right? Then that happens. When we try and get rid of our curves, then the motion moves into the joint, and that's where there's compression. When we start to get rid of the curves in our spine, we start to cause this compression, especially where the curves change, where L4 and L5 meet S1, where T12 meets L1, up here in the neck in C1 and T2, down here in the neck in C7, T1. These are very common places where we tend to get issues in our spine. So when we allow our curves to remain intact, we allow this spring-like motion of the spine to allow that wave of motion to move through the joints and heal them and lubricate them instead of causing compression and pain and dysfunction. So when you hear someone say flat back in yoga, very often it's a inhale, look up, flat back. They either are mistaken or they have no idea what they're talking about. And a lot of people are doing yoga wrong at the expense of especially their lower back. So remember, as you go to bend forward, can you lift your sit bones up and just allow the pelvis to roll over the head of your femur? Keep that lower back curve intact as you do and notice the difference. If you try and tuck your tail a lot, like we were all taught to do in aerobics in the late 80s and early 90s, and try to bend forward, it will immediately become evident to you, hey, that's not a good idea. Instead, if you turn your sit bones up and put a little more junk in your trunk, as you roll down, you will feel that that motion becomes quite a lot easier. This is one example of why no one should ever have a flat back. No one should strive towards a flat back. If your yoga teacher says flat back, what they mean is extended length. The term that is actually appropriate is called axial extension. And I'll show you on my body. If I roll my hips way back like my Sicilian grandmother did, notice I'll start to get shorter here. My entire spine starts to get shorter as I come into compression here in my lower back. And if I tuck my tail under like my Irish uncles do, notice as well, I will also start to get shorter here. Axial extension is when these beautiful curves are balanced and we create length between them. So we bring our tail back and then gently tuck it down into the space that we created between those sit bones. Bring it back, tail tucks down, T12 is gently back, sternum is lifted, reaching up through crown, dropping down through tail. This is called axial extension. This is the extended length that you're looking for in your spine, which should never, ever be flat. Thanks so much for listening. I look forward to working with you. Have a fabulous day.